Right, we're all live. So, tell us about TEXO Technologies, Pat. How did it come about, and what are you trying to achieve through your division?
Yeah. On the surface, TEXO Technologies could and should be seen as the digital arm of TEXO Group. We are fundamentally the software and digital engineering element to the organisation. How did it come about? It's been quite a long journey, and we started very much in the video space and live streaming technology. That's really where we started. But quite quickly I've also more moved into data, and we actually see video as the new data. It's the combination of video and your traditional data systems that working together, that's how we create new solutions for industry. I think that really sums it up.
So through this new sort of area that TEXO is sort of embracing, what sort of clients do you think will be interested in what TEXO Technology offers?
Right. So one of the big advantages that TEXO Technologies brings to a number of sectors is that we have grown out of TEXO Group. And TEXO Group has quite a broad reach. It reaches into a number of different sectors, be it in the engineering space, workspace solutions, port services, drones, and in terms of the actual sectors themselves, you've got construction, you've got energy, new energy, you've got traditional energy, oil and gas, you've got a whole suite of different sectors, utilities, water, electricity. We work across all of those sectors. So being a technical or digital arm of TEXO Group also gives us exposure to what the challenges are in those different sectors. And that gives us, I believe, a unique insight as a technology company. Unlike a lot of technology companies that work in the tech space, we're a technology company that very much understands the challenges that these different sectors actually face, because we're in it. And I think that fundamentally is where we would like to see ourselves as being different. We create solutions that meet a specific need.
Okay. Give us an example of one of the products that I find fascinating is the redaction side.
Yep.
Take us through that and give us an example of how the technology arm can deliver for one of the other services sectors.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that part of our business, because it's probably at the minute, and well, it has been for a while actually, very, very topical. You know, you'll see it in the news all the time, you know, GDPR or protecting the public and data security, etc. So where does redaction fit within all of that? Probably one of the most common areas that it's desired and needed is in the police and public sector areas where video is commonplace, be it body cameras, be it CCTV, for any number of reasons why they've got those in place. But the consequences of that technology is you have lots and lots of video, you've got lots and lots of footage, and you have to store that footage somewhere, be it for legal reasons or be it you know, so you can retrieve it at a later point, bearing in mind that you can only retain it for a certain period of time. Now, the problem with all that video is it costs a lot of money to store it somewhere. So that's the first challenge. And the second challenge is freedom of information requests. Everybody has a right of freedom of information requests to public organisations. The challenge that places on those organisations is the time it takes to, first of all, find the right footage, and to secondly, redact faces and anything that can be identifiable. As you can imagine, that takes a lot of time and effort. 1 minute of video could be 9,000 frames. Imagine having to go through that manually. So,
and that's what people have had to do or still do now.
Yes, there are absolutely. There are solutions on the market that will claim to automate that process, and I'm sure they do a reasonable job of it. AI, or artificial intelligence, actually has matured to the point that it's now becoming quite a resilient technology. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So what we've done is kind of taken it to another step. We've actually combined AI to identify the faces automatically. So immediately that gives a huge time and cost saving. But then our technology Connect, the platform, allows and we term it HI. You know, it's a term we use internally, human intelligence, and some people have argued that it's quite rare, but
or the lack of.
But so we let AI do its job, and then human intervention using our technology to either add in places maybe AI has missed it. But the software, you only need to add it in once, the software will then track it. So that combination of AI and human intervention is actually proven to be really, really successful. Really excited about the redaction piece. It's a really exciting area.
So what sectors are you pursuing that you feel will embrace that type of technology?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the obvious ones that come to mind is the police and security side of things. Over the last 5 years, there's been a huge push towards the body cam side of things, and you know, that's, people can judge that one way or the other, but at the end of the day, it's not going away. From a public protection perspective, redaction does play a massive role, and it helps all parties. It helps the police and the security deal with freedom of information requests, or whatever it is they have to send to courts or anything like that. But equally, on the other side, it's protecting the public interest as well. So bringing in this technology is very timely. We've put a lot of effort into it and quite excited about it. So that's the obvious sector. But then you've also got, you've got your local authorities, councils, all of those with their CCTV. And we've seen more recently a lot of news around CCTV and the consequences of CCTV. And I think truly believe our software plays a crucial role in presenting video in the right way and giving comfort to the public that it's been handled in the right way. And I think that's where our technology fits very, very nicely into that. There are other sectors as well where it's probably less obvious. So in the energy sector, oil and gas, you know, sometimes people worry that if people are wearing body cams, is their face going to be captured? And just totally understandable concerns. But with redaction playing a role, that alleviates those concerns, or it should help alleviate those concerns, I should say.
So what is it about TEXO that's compelling? For you, as someone who started the sort of technology side up and working alongside the rest of TEXO, what's compelling from an employee or from a director's perspective, and then how would that sort of transcend into how you hope the audience would find compelling about TEXO?
That's a good question. Difficult question. Thanks, Russell.
That's what I'm here for. And that's what you're here for. Answer those difficult questions.
Those are difficult questions, yeah. What's compelling? I've been in the digital tech space for 25 plus years, and I've probably would like to think I've seen the ebbs and flows of trends within the industry. And sometimes you have to cut through a lot of fog to see what's real. And love technology, and the guys that are part of the team all love technology. But at the end of the day, like any company, the lifeblood of that company is its people. But it's also, you know, the customers and the cash flow and all those things that it takes to run that company. TEXO Group, one of the really compelling things for me personally is its breadth and the people within it, and the attitude. I think they've got the strap line that always sticks in my head, that you don't build businesses, you build people, and people build the business. I think it absolutely nails it for me, because that, like I said earlier, people are the lifeblood of the business at the end of the day, and those people are also your customers. So as a technology company, being part of that and being right in among it, not necessarily in the technical space, but understanding those problems and challenges that are across that wide spectrum of services that TEXO Group offer, is hugely appealing to me, because we know we have the technical solutions to fix the challenges. And I think you could ask most people in the technical space, who are quite creative people, what's the thing that gives them the buzz? And some people might say, oh, I love writing code or whatever, but actually a lot of people in the industry, what they really like to see is a smile on that customer's face when it's solved their problem. And that's what's really compelling about being part of this environment.
And the compelling side for the client, the end user?
Yeah, for the client, in some ways maybe similar, in that they can trust a technical company that is working in their space. And I think really that's the difference that we're bringing to the table, is that you could look at two companies offering a similar service, and one company in the technical space is actually working in the same space as that customer. They can be reassured that we understand the challenge. And that's the differentiator. We try not to differentiate. Yes, we've got great technology, absolutely. But would we always promote and differentiate ourselves on the technology? No, it's not always justified or needed, because what we're actually creating, and it's one of the things that sometimes people forget in business, is trust. And it's our clients that trust us because we understand their challenges.
In a competitive industry, because there's no doubt about it, post-COVID, I think a lot of companies struggle for the right team, the right person, recruitment. How's TEXO Technologies taken that challenge on?
Another good question. I think if you speak to most people in our sector, in the technology sector, the one thing that comes up again and again, particularly in the UK, is skills. I think, there's no doubt about it. Universities, colleges, etc., they do a great job at what they do. But quite often when those new people come into the industry, there's quite a jump between what they've learned at university and what is required within industry. And from a recruitment and building and getting the right people in the team, I would use the word fortunately old enough. I don't know if you would use that phrase often, but having gone through that process a number of times, I do appreciate where those gaps actually are. So what we did in technologies was, we knew that, coming back to what I said earlier about the lifeblood of a business in terms of your team, and the mantra really that TEXO Group shows and demonstrates, is that get the right team in place does take time. It takes effort, it takes energy to build that team. But putting the right program in place to develop that team is really, really important. And that's what we've done. We've created our own training program internally, and that's been really, really successful internally. And we hope to expand upon that going forward, and maybe even share it out across other industries. But it's early days. So yeah, it has, skills is probably the biggest challenge in our industry, I would say. But it's not unique to our company, it's right across the board, I would say.
Yeah. How do you see TEXO Technologies delivering on its promises in terms of when a client comes to you with a situation or what's the process you go through?
We never over-promise, under-deliver. And how we do what we do is we take our clients and our customers on the journey with us. How do we do that? What we tend to do is work very, very closely with the client to understand that problem. So that involves not offering any solution or any coding or any product. We have all of that, but we don't go in and try and shove it or impose it on our client. What we actually do, We're very transparent in the way we price things. We're very transparent in time. We give people examples, of how a project might work and what it would cost, and here's a timeline. But we keep it very generic. We're very transparent in how we do that. And then we would tend to say to our clients, right, okay, there's the end game. This is where you're trying to get to, and we think it can take X to get to there. But rather than just look at the end game, let's fix a low-hanging fruit problem first. And what that does is, first of all, it demonstrates to our clients that we can deliver. It also means that there's a learning process that happens during that journey. And so if you pick something, it could be as small as a few days, it could be a week's work or whatever it is. But you take that small element and you deliver on that, and they can see the benefit. And then it comes back to the word trust that I used earlier. They trust us, and then you start building it forward from there. So it protects all parties. Yeah.
So obviously TEXO Technologies is a relatively new attachment to the TEXO family. I know it's probably 2 years old now, maybe. Mm-hmm. Over those 2 years, what's been give us a high point and a low point within that journey so far?
I could lie and say there were no low points.
We don't lie. No, we don't.
That's another good question. For me, personally, the high point is watching the team develop. Absolutely. Probably, and when I say team, I mean both from within technologies part of the business, but also the group as well. I think it would be fair to say that TEXO Group, they would bringing in a technologies company was a new experience for them as well, and it was a journey for them to learn and understand how a technology-based business, how it operates. Quite different to engineering or fabrication, and it's just a different model and a different way of working, I suppose. So the high point is both in the team, seeing them develop, but also seeing TEXO Group develop as well. And for me, that's quite a buzz, and that's definitely the high points for me. Low points, there haven't been many, but there's probably really where you think you're on the right track, you think you're communicating the right thing or the message, or you think you understand the product, all of those things. And then you realise, or you get the feedback from your clients that actually, hold on a minute, no, you haven't quite grasped that right. It's maybe you need to think more about this. So you put a lot of time and energy into going, but I don't think this is actually unique to our company. Again, I think a lot of companies go through that kind of pain in the early days, where you think, we've nailed it, we've got it, and then we haven't. But what we have done is adapted and changed to get it to where it is now.
But it's been a very interesting journey to be sort of on the outside watching TEXO Technologies develop and actually find a niche for itself. And I think the first sort of 2 years was spent in almost R&D in where it would fit in, what and how it could support TEXO and its clients. So it's been an amazing journey to watch it, and it is very true. Just now that it's in such a great place to sort of say, I have a raft of services and deliverables that are in tune with what TEXO does. Yeah. So if we were to look in 18 months' time, apart from, and I know this isn't you at all, Pat, wanting to turn up in your Ferrari and saying, "Hey, look, we've done it." Where do you, in 2 years' time, where's your satisfaction? Where would you be the happiest?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big question. I was going to say I'm a people's person, but really that's for other people to define whether I am or not.
That's interview 2.
Yeah. It really is I went on this journey to create something. That was hugely important to me, to actually build something from the ground up, build the right team and see it develop. And going from a fledgling, if you like, or tend to use the word sapling, if you like, into a tree. That for me is if you were to ask me in 2 years' time if I could look back at the company and see the people develop, take on the roles and maybe understand how the business operates to the same level that I understand it, would be very, very rewarding. But equally, obviously, like any business, you want to see it grow, you want the client base to grow, yeah, and have that sustainable revenue, annuity, whatever you want to call it. Because at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is jobs. You know, you can look and, you know, if you're creating jobs, new entrants into the market, building that business, and it's becoming almost self-sustaining, that's the perfect point for me. That's then my job. I feel I've created what I set out to do.
In terms of the Scottish, the Aberdonian mentality, how well does technologies or TEXO technologies fit into the local environment where one of the key drivers of the sort of methodology of TEXO is community focused, looking at how we can develop and improve local businesses or businesses within Scotland. How important is that for you to pursue and to generate? And is there enough support in the Scottish sort of environment, the business sort of network to encourage technology-based companies to thrive?
I would always answer that maybe contentious answer, but no, I don't think there is enough. But I would equally say I would never say there's enough. And the reason for that is globally, we have to compete with some big players. And those big players invest heavily in skills, digital and tech skills, from a very, very early age. And you know, they've reaped the benefits of that for many years. And again, without picking out any countries or naming anything like that, we all know who those players are. But then you look at I'll start with the UK. You look at the UK, you know, you could argue the founding father of computing. You know, Cambridge, you've got the Raspberry Pi organisation, and all of the innovation right back to the early days of, if anyone is old enough to remember, the Scion organiser, and all of that innovation and capability within the UK exists and grows. Sinclair, absolutely.
C5.
Aye, well, I'll stick with the ZX Spectrum if I remember.
ZX81.
Yes, but
so where's the, in your opinion, where does the gap or gaps appear where you have innovators and other countries then seem to take those and commercialise them? Where are we? Where are those gaps? What are we doing wrong as a country? Maybe
I wouldn't go as far as to say wrong.
Where can we improve?
Yes,
Where's the improvements to be made?
I would definitely say, you know, there needs to be maybe an attitude change to investment. I think other countries would look at investment and perceive, right, okay, we know it's a risk. And the technology industry is a risky investment, but the upside is the rewards when it works. You know, and I think when you look at in the investor side of things, it is improving, absolutely. But you have to realise that you might back 10 companies and only one of them might come through. Because that attitude to risk is something that has improved. It definitely has, but if I was to roll back 20, 25 years, you know, failure was such a dirty word, whereas actually, you know, me personally, I'm more inclined to back someone that's failed, because what's failure? Well, failure usually means you've learned a lot and you're less likely to fail again. Big difference failing for the same mistakes twice, that's a different thing. But no, I think attitude to risk is one thing. I think skills education in the ICT side of things early on and helping to develop that. I think support for young companies. Scotland does a pretty good job of that. Even here in Aberdeen, you know, we've got the Tech Hub and all of these things. And I think what's great about Aberdeen is it hasn't rested on its laurels. The oil, originally and traditionally called the oil capital of Europe, you know, and okay, it's gone through some significant challenges. and be it a downturn or whatever. But attitude to change is pretty well demonstrated here, and that's something I think we need to see right across the UK. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's we've covered a lot of topics. So thanks very much, Pat.
Thank you.
And we will keep the audiences chomping at the bit for episode 2. So thank you very much.
Forward to it. Thank you.